Hey friends, it's been a minute. I'm here with a super recap of 2 weeks of my training thus far. I have some notes, so please don't mind me reading. It helps me stay on track. But without further ado, let's get to it. Week 2, day 1 was Tuesday, May 27th. We did run 2.5, walk 2.5, repeat it 6 times. I was averaging a heart rate of 161, and my first mile I hit in 15:12 pace, and then the second mile I hit at 14:51. I'm giving first and second mile stats because the first mile incorporates the 5-minute warm-up. Thursday, May 29th, we did run for 3 minutes, walk for 3 minutes, and repeat that for 5 times. I averaged a heart rate of 161. And my first mile I hit at 16:14 pace, and then the second mile I hit at 15:14 pace. So this is when I started to realize I needed to work more on pacing and not trying to gun it through the workouts. So Saturday, May 31st, the end of May, we were doing run for 4 minutes, walk for 3, repeat for 4 times. My heart rate was 164 beats per minute. I hit my first mile at 15:03, and then the second one was at 14:10. Saturday runs are usually when we try to pick a brand new location or something that we've enjoyed. John brought me to WBNA in Odenton, where I grew up. It was a trail I have never been on, even though I've lived there for many years. But even my TikTok screenshots got messed up because it's a beautiful trail. It's very quiet. It's not as busy as going to one of the Columbia Lake parks. After Saturday's run, it was the longest I've ever done, so John introduced me to recovery runs. I have never done a recovery run. I thought running was just exertion. I was starting to doubt whether or not I was making any actual progress with my training. I just felt like I was surviving each interval with each new day of training. So John suggested we repeat the first day of training, the run 1, walk 1. Repeat 8 times. It was not as easy as I thought it would be. I felt like that session was forever ago. I could not believe how much more stamina I felt I had during those intervals for the second time. And overall, I knocked about 2 minutes off of my original pace. Sunday, June 1st, my takeaway was John showing me to believe in myself and not doubt the progress I'm making. He's seeing it in my pacing and my ability to try to breathe through these intervals where I was just stuck in the mindset of I have to survive these intervals. So it was a nice way of him showing me that I am making progress and that this training is doing something. So week 3, the week I just completed, Tuesday, June 3rd, was not a good day. It was supposed to be run 3.5 and walk 3, repeat 5 times. We tried out a new place in Rockburn Park here in Elkridge. We thought that the trails were going to be pretty easy to follow. We were looking for the paved or mostly paved route. It became a trail run, which is something completely outside of my comfort zone. I was trying to focus on posture, breathing, not tensing up, staying loose, driving my knees, making sure my knees are facing forward. I'm thinking of all of these technical things, and now I have to kind of look out for tree roots, watch where I'm stepping, dealing with bugs, dealing with overgrown grass that we're running through. It became too much for me. I felt very overstimulated, and I felt frozen. I just could not focus on trying to keep pace, trying to keep moving my feet. It was rough. I had a lot of self-doubt, which kind of sucks after coming off of a great recovery run session where I saw improvement. Adding this element of running in the woods became too much for me. It was very humid, it was hot, it was very hilly. I ended up having some hip, knee, and ankle pain on my right side, so I immediately became discouraged. John kept cheering me on, and once he realized like I really couldn't push myself more or I was going to cry, he just held my hand and we just finished the walk back to the car. And I tried not to dwell on it too much. He made a better effort on making sure I didn't take that as an L. I knew I would have bad days during this training for the August race. I didn't know I was going to see it so soon. I thought it was going to be, you know, when we get to like go longer, you know, run for 12 minutes or like 10. So it was very discouraging. And, you know, John put it into good words of, am I going to take the L and just redo the whole week starting next week, which would be, you know, next week, or pick up Thursday what Thursday is supposed to be, or push Tuesday's run to Thursday and just do it like a day behind for the schedule. I didn't pick right away. I kind of waited until we got to Wednesday, and I was like, well, I don't want to just sit around and mope. I asked him if he was willing to go to Centennial Park in Columbia and we could walk. Centennial Park is a longer loop. We walked it before early in March when we were just trying to get out and do things outdoors and do things for our cardio health at an easy pace. So I thought a nice walk together would help me make sure I don't stay stuck in that mindset that I failed Tuesday's interval training. So Wednesday is a bonus day, June 4th. We actually did a walk. We actually did 2 laps at Centennial, which I've never done before. So that's a little over 5 miles. I remember the first time walking it, towards the end I was really tired of it. I haven't been doing any kind of activity. So when we were coming up on our end of our first lap, I was like, hey, like, do you mind if we do another one? And of course he was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, he was excited. I think a little shocked that I suggested it. For Wednesday, I averaged a heart rate of 144. We're walking at a pretty brisk pace. And our first mile we hit at 18:53, and then the second mile at 18:26. It felt good to get back out there and not soak in what I thought was a failure for Tuesday. So I'm glad I had the courage to get up and try something easier, or at least movement, to say like, hey, at least I get to move my body. At least I can choose to go out and do something like this. So Thursday, we go back to what we did at the end of May. June 5th, we did run 4, walk 3, repeat 4 times. I'm working on pacing. Heart rate was about 156 average, which is much better than the 164 I did on May 31st. The pace is a little slower, trying to maintain the same pace throughout the entire intervals. So first mile was at 16:16 and the second mile 16:29. It felt good to be back out doing the interval trainings. I think having the walk on Wednesday really helped, saying like, yeah, you're fine, you can do this again. Yeah, this is where we realized that I was pushing too hard, trying to do speed over maintaining endurance. So John is really working on trying to keep us at like a 14 and a half pace for longevity. Because yeah, I could do it for a mile, but you know, 10 miles, what does that look like? And then now we're up to yesterday, June 7th. We did run 6 minutes, walk for 4. We repeat that 4 times. Average heart rate was 159. The first mile I hit at 15:52 and the second at 14:25. I really want to stay around that 14:30 for some of these longer sessions to just maintain endurance. John really worked on keeping pace again. I was often trying to speed up and go faster, thinking like, oh, if I run faster, this minute will be over faster, and that's not the case. So really trying to make sure I pull back and try to keep like a steady pace throughout the entire times that we're actually doing the work. We were in Crofton for this one on the Parkway. It was pretty steady. There were some hills that I was not aware of, but we were able to tackle them. We were walking up one of the bigger hills and actually had to start one of our last legs running up that hill. That was challenging. but we got through it. Overall, pretty surprised that I ran for 6 minutes 4 different times. So I don't think I've ever done that in my entire life. So how do I feel about this program now that we're going into week 4 out of the 8 weeks? I feel good about it generally. I'm not gonna lie and say it's super easy, because it's not. Mentally, I think it's the hardest thing to focus on telling myself I can do this. I do still do some negative talk, like it's too hard, I can't do this, I'm going to die. That's just been the mindset I've had for a long time about myself. So trying to spin it and be positive and really embrace, like, I'm able to move my body, I'm able to go out and do this, I get to practice running, I get to train for a big goal in my life. I'm trying to spin it to say it like that, but it's an old habit of negative talk that I'm still working through. I am very grateful that I have a partner that helps me and coaches me and cheers me on. It's nice to have him as someone I can bounce like questions off of. He can like check my form from the front and or like back off and like watch how I'm placing my feet from behind or even on the side. He also helps me film some of my clips for my shorter videos for my TikTok. So he does get some production props for that. I am hopeful that by the end of the 8th week, I have more endurance, because yes, I'm training for a 5K on August 2nd, but I also have decided to up the ante, and I have signed up for the Annapolis 10 miler at the end of August. And running 10 miles right now seems insane to me. There is a pace cutoff. You have to maintain, I think, either 15 or 15 and a half minute mile, because they have to open the roads back up. So that's why we're shooting for like 14 and a half, so I could try to stay ahead of that closing line so I can actually finish the race. I'm excited, I'm nervous, but I'm really proud of the progress I've made. And it's hard for me to say because I feel like I don't want to be braggy about it, but I'm just shocked that I've made it 3 weeks already of this program. Well, thanks for sticking around for my 2-week recap. Hopefully I get a little bit better at this and only have to do 1 week. So this video might be a little bit longer than the other ones. But I appreciate you guys stopping by and checking it out and checking in on me. Any tips and tricks, send them my way, and I'll keep posting updates on how everything is going. As always, friends, see you at the finish line.